There is not a state or a city in this country that is not advertising for lucrative high-tech development, and Indiana, of course, is no different. The new image of Indiana is this: the microchips and semiconductors, robotics and computers, ultra-modern manufacturing and research. And this morning, we'll look at that changing image of the Hoosier State and how diversification helped get Indiana through a depression that really ravaged many of its Farm Belt neighbors. And joining us to talk about it are Lieutenant Governor John Mutz, whose duties include being director of the Indiana Department of Commerce, and also Michael Leckrone, who has a young company doing some laser technology research here in Indianapolis. And good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Governor Mutz, the Joint Economic Council of Congress concluded, quote, you're going to love this, the best overall investment climate for high-tech is the Midwest. Why?
Well, among the reasons is that about 40% of all the engineers in this country are produced by educational institutions that are located within like 150 miles here of Indianapolis. Secondly, the cost of doing business here is extremely competitive. And third, we have a mature, trained workforce which can adapt to the new high-tech kinds of employment opportunities more quickly than can most parts of the United States.
You've said that you aren't going for the, quote, glamour industries that might gravitate around Stanford and Palo Alto or MIT and Harvard in Boston. So what's left?
Well, of course, there are a lot of things left. In the area of medical technology, we think Indianapolis and Indiana has a real leg up in this situation. That's one of those things where we're able to produce new technologies as a spin-off from the medical center here in Indianapolis and through other technologies that really make a difference in the cost of health care.
Michael Leckrone, I wonder if you could explain, good luck, what kind of laser research you're doing here?
Well, Jane, what we're trying to do is to make laser-powered plaque blasters, if you will. These are catheter-based devices that will go into the vessels of people who have blockages that restrict the blood flow to heart, brain, limbs, and either die or have stroke or have severe pain and potentially gangrene.
Right now it's research.
It's research. It's all research right now.
Indiana gave you an offer you couldn't refuse.
Absolutely.
Why did you pick Indiana to do your research?
Well, I was here. My garage was here, which is where I started. And it's probably the best deal I've seen.
I guess. You have 4 employees and their salaries are virtually paid for by a grant from the state of Indiana.
That's correct, Jane.
Now, why is this a good idea? He doesn't have any employees to offer the state. He's not paying taxes yet. So why is he a good bet for the future in Indiana?
Well, because we know that when bright people come together and interact, the spin-offs of that kind of activity are the businesses of the future. The business that Michael Leckrone is likely to create by this laser technology that's a replacement for the bypass surgery that we're so familiar with is the kind of business that will produce hundreds of jobs 5-10 years from now.
You sound like a venture capitalist.
Well, in a sense we are, except we're investing in joint R&D, research and development activities, between our universities and colleges and private sector individuals like this particular firm.
Now, as I said in the opening, every state and city in the country thinks high-tech is the future. We were down in Houston, and the mayor of Houston, Kathy Whitmire's, that diversification and high-tech are her words too. But your competition is Ohio, is Michigan,
That's right. The Great Lakes states are likely to be our biggest competition.
So why are you going to win that competition?
Well, we're going to win the competition because it basically costs less money to do business in Indiana on almost any score. At least in 18 of the 22 major industry categories, it costs less money to do business in Indiana than it does in Ohio, Illinois, and Michigan.
Yeah. Well, Lieutenant Governor John Mutz, thank you. Michael Leckrone, I hope your research pays off quickly.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you,
and we'll
Jane.
be back after a station break.
Indiana, Indiana.